Hey guys, Nate from 80/20 Marketing Guy, where every week I share a marketing tip that'll help you improve your conversions with your existing audience. If you want to receive a video like this every week, do me a favor and just click right here on the screen to subscribe. So this week I'm talking about 3 funnel best practices that will help you make more money. A few weeks ago, I did a video on what's a marketing funnel, and I kind of took you top to bottom about what the modern understanding of a funnel is and how people use it to make more money. And I talked about it in pretty general terms. But today I'm back to extend on that with 3 best practices to make more money from your funnel. And I want to talk about why this is important. And the reason is because a lot of the people who ask me questions and a lot of my clients are people with existing sales funnels. They've already got a course or a consulting product up for sale, and they've already got some kind of landing page and email sequence, but they're looking to make their conversions better. So this video is going to extend on 3 ways to do that. So number 1, I like to call track and work back. And that's literally just understanding marketing writ large. So Joe Polish likes to say there are only 2 numbers you need to know in marketing. And one is how much is your customer costing you to acquire? And the second is how much are you making from him or her? Now remember that when we speak about a single funnel, we mean that solves a single problem. So you may be doing this in multiple parts of your business for multiple different offers, but when we talk about this, we're really talking about just one single offer. So a lot of people are trying to convert more people on their list, but they really don't have these 2 numbers, customer acquisition cost and customer lifetime value. Remember those from the intro videos, nailed down. There are a lot of different ways to track your acquisition cost, and some of these platforms like AdWords for Video and Facebook ads, if you use the Pixel, will actually tell you how much it costs to get one person onto your list. You can embed the Pixel on your thank you page for your opt-in. But what I like to do is have a system that works across platforms, and as I'll tell you below, I'm only really using 1 to 3, and at most times, hopefully just 1 paid traffic source at a time. So what I like to use is dedicated landing pages. All that means is that if you've got a Facebook ad campaign, they're pointing at 1 version of your homepage. And it could be identical to your normal homepage, but it could just be home/Facebook. And so what you can do with that is, depending on your CRM, you can have different opt-in forms on that page. And by the time people get onto your mailing list, they're already tagged or identified in Infusionsoft, for instance, with a lead source field that earmarks them as where they came from. And this is important because the only other big thing you're going to do is go to the other end of the funnel after an appropriate period of time and see who's shaken out, see who's bought your product. And so then here's what you do. Once you nail down the time period you're going to track, you're going to go to the bottom of your funnel and you're going to identify everyone who's spent money with you. And then you're going to filter only those people who came from the lead source you're tracking. Then you're going to determine the average amount of money each person spent. That's your average customer lifetime value for that period of time. And then you're going to divide the total amount of money you spent on that ad source by the number of buyers. I'll say that one more time. Divide the total spend on that ad source by the number of buyers. And that's your customer acquisition cost, not your cost per lead. It means how much did it cost you to get the average person to buy. Now I want to go really quickly through the equation that Infusionsoft uses to determine lead source ROI, which is return on investment. And that's a simple division equation. It's a fraction that we all use to calculate percent. That is average customer lifetime value in the numerator and average customer acquisition cost in the denominator. And then of course, to get the percentage, you multiply that by 100. If it's 100% or more, you know that lead source is profitable. So say it's 120%. That means if it's costing you $1 to acquire that customer, the average customer is spending $1.20. This is important because this is the filter we're going to use to evaluate how good our paid traffic lead sources are for step 2, the somewhat controversial, but I think I'm in good company, go big or go home. So remember how I said that you can have dedicated landing pages because I only have 1 to 3 paid lead sources at any one time. So this raises a lot of eyebrows. People are like, hang on, you don't have your LinkedIn campaign and your Facebook ads and Google ads and your Bing ads. And I'm like, no, you don't. And here's why. If your accurately calculating your lead source return on investment, then you know how much money you need to spend to make how much money back. And I like to use the pinball machine analogy. Say you had a pinball machine in a room that instead of playing a game, if you insert a quarter, it gives you a certain amount of money back. It's like maybe a change machine's a better analogy. So say you had 3 of these in the room, and into one you could insert a quarter and it would give you $1 back. And into another you could insert a quarter and it gave you $2 back. And into another you'd insert a quarter and it gave you $3 back. Now, do you think you would take your finite amount of money and divide it equally amongst those 3 machines? No, you'd have to be stupid. You would take 100% of your money and pour it into the $3 machine. And I think the reason people don't do this is twofold. Number one is that they have fear about cutting off certain sources, which is understandable. And number two is because they're not super clear on their lead source return on investment. By the way, when I said I was in good company, I mean, I'm not the only person who thinks that you should double, triple, quadruple down on your best lead source. Gabriel Weinberg, author of the book Traction and founder of the search company DuckDuckGo, agrees with me on this. If you want to know more about traffic sources and how to grow your audience, his resource, the book Traction, is probably the best thing out there about it. Okay, so that's number 2, go big or go home. Now let's talk about the third best practice, which is simply work from the top down. Now that you've pinned down which lead source converts best into sales, it's time to ask yourself, which part of the funnel should you strengthen? And I'd like to keep this really simple for the purposes of this video. There are 2 more big links in that chain. And one is your opt-in conversion rate and one is your sales conversion rate. So you want to optimize your lead source, which we did in step 2. Then you want to optimize your opt-in conversion rate. Then only after that do you want to optimize your sales conversion rate. And the one thing I'll say about that is, yes, in general that's true, but you can always go low-hanging fruit with it using benchmarks. So benchmarks is another really well-researched term in marketing. And it just means you have kind of an industry standard number to compare yourself against. And the way we're going to use benchmarks in our funnel is to ask ourselves, is our opt-in conversion rate within a good benchmark? So what's a good benchmark for an opt-in conversion rate? That's how many people who land on your page actually opt onto your mailing list for a landing page for a paid traffic source. I think it's 50%. You may think this is controversial, but remember, we're not talking about free traffic opt-in conversion rate or even hybrid traffic opt-in conversion rate. For hybrid traffic, for every page from your site, including free traffic from search, I think 20% is great. When you're running ad traffic to a page, people already clicked on your ad. So if fewer than half of them are taking you up on your offer from the ad, that means you probably have one of 3 things wrong. So the first thing I'd look for on your opt-in page is, do people know within the first 5 seconds exactly how to get onto your mailing list? Because even if they arrive warm from an ad, ready to opt onto your list, if you make them search for an opt-in box or you have multiple calls to action, I've hammered on this in other videos, it's going to slow the process down. Number 2 is conflicting offers between your ad and your landing page. And this both confuses people and also makes them feel like you're performing a bait and switch. For instance, if you say, are you having trouble driving conversions? Get my brand new 3-video course in your ad. And then you arrive at the landing page and it says, are you having trouble making your list larger? Get my free cheat sheet. There's just that little bit of incongruence, so it's super easy to fix. Just make sure your ad call to action is congruent with your landing page offer and your landing page call to action. So number 3 is, do you have lightbox pop-ups? And this is something you only want to add once you've got those previous 2 dialed in, because otherwise it'll seem spammy. But the data is pretty unequivocal. A good half of all the opt-ins I get on my landing pages come from scrolling lightbox pop-ups from plugins like Leadpages, Opt-in Monster, ConvertKit, and SumoMe. And I want to add 1 extra, even though I said 3, and that's, if you've got a double opt-in, don't even waste my time. I'm going to make an entire other video about why double opt-ins suck, but let me just say this. People already want your offer. They're already conceding to join your mailing list. So it's only making it more difficult for them if you force them to wait for a confirmation email. Okay, once you've got your opt-in conversion rate dialed in, we want to talk again about your sales conversion rate. And so I'm going to go back to the concept I talked about in the What's a Funnel video, which is the sort of two things you want to think about with your funnel. So one is, can people get from one stage to the next? Are the pipes connected? Are the links prominent in your emails? Can people get to your sales page? Can they find a buy now button? And do people know where to go to opt in for things? And the second big question, of course, is how do you get more of them to take you up on your offer? So if the pipes are connected, how do you get more water to flow through those pipes? So it comes back to these three things. Number one, are you making a convincing case that you understand what their problem is and that your particular solution is the exact right solution for their problem? So that's product market fit, and you address that in your copy throughout your emails and your sales page. Number two is, do they trust you to solve their problem? And you're going to earn their trust about that through things like content marketing and testimonials, and maybe through your own personal story. Number three, and this is subtly different, is, are they even opening your emails? Which you can think about it like you've got a great Amazon gift in a box, but the wrapping paper needs to tell a story too. So you could have an email that talks to people about how to improve their conversion rate on their blog pages. But if you have an email subject that's like, here's my weekly newsletter, it's not going to get as many opens as, John, could you be losing money by under-optimizing your blog articles? They're both truthful, but the second one tells people why they should care. And that's kind of a meta theme throughout this whole thing. So there are a lot of levels deeper we can go with how to convert more people. We'll certainly be talking about sales pages and email copy and email sequence in future videos, but I want to leave you there for now. And if you do want to go deeper on any of that stuff, my really comprehensive follow it to the T and it'll actually work for you in real life resource is my brand new course, Start Your Funnel Without or With a CRM. If you're a consultant or a content creator and you want to just put up a mailing list like a garden and let it start growing for you while you do other things, you can do this in just a couple hours and you don't need any fancy software. Check out that free product right here. Just enter your name and email address on the next page and I'll send that to you completely free. Guys, it's been real. Had a lot of fun. Be back next week for another marketing lesson of the week. Hey, from 80/20 Marketing Guy.